Every spiritual seeker wants to be more connected to their intuition, to be more powerful at manifestation, and to experience freedom, honestly, freedom, and the excitement that comes from living in alignment with spiritual powers, your spiritual powers. In this video, I'm going to tell you what you should, if I can use that dirty word, what you should be doing to create a greater intuitive connection and to be more magnetic for manifestation. We're also going to call in an archangel for you, and I'm going to share with you a really cool, uplifting, and, magical story about how a lost cat was found with both animal communication, that's telepathically communicating with the animal, and bilocation. Yes, that's a real thing. So I hope you will stay tuned for this live podcast and also stay tuned for it to listen in the replay because you'll feel like you're time traveling to be with us. I'm excited to connect with you today. Hello and welcome to the Charmed Life podcast. This podcast is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, and the unconditional love of the universe. And I am your host. My name is Tricia Carr. Welcome to this episode. And, just a slight mention that some people might be here live with me while I'm live streaming this. And so I want to encourage you that however it is that you are connecting with this, that you check in the description and find my YouTube channel, because that's how you're going to be able to come live and participate in the chat. And I'm going to say hello to who's here in a minute. Hi, honey. Hi. If you are here live, please do drop a comment, say hello, say where you're coming in from, chat with each other, and, ask questions if there's something you want to know about your intuitive abilities, intuition, manifestation, and some of the other things that I'll be talking about today. I'm also going to be putting this on the podcast, the audio version. So let's get right into it. And I want to tell you that I'm so grateful that you're here. And if we haven't met before, I would love to work with you and share with you and expand with you. Now, I want to start off today with an affirmation or something that can help you to connect. Now, we're going to talk about that one technique that is it's super simple, and truly a lot of people miss it, or sometimes we forget about it. But before we head into that, this will really get us into the sense of it. And I want you to feel a moment here that you can connect with your heart. So if you're driving, I want to make sure that you keep your eyes on the road and that you do not become too altered. Just a general, point here anytime that I ask you to engage in a technique. But you could still do this if you're doing something else. Just be sure to stay alert. And if you're sitting in a place where you can connect a little more deeply, then let's go ahead and do that. And you can take a breath with me and just drop your awareness into your heart. Imagine it opening like a flower. And if you can for a moment, if you want to even close your eyes, I would love for you to direct your love to yourself. And you can anchor this into your heart. Because self-love is truly the language of your soul. And another way to say that is that self-love, you loving yourself, is how the universe can see you. Now, this is actually not even the technique I am going to share with you, but it is a technique in and of itself to improve your intuition, your psychic intuitive abilities, and your manifestation magnetism. And that is to first love yourself, love and accept yourself deeply. As you're dropping into your heart and imagining it being open like a flower, you could also do a little bit of a technique that is in line with tapping, the emotional freedom technique. You can either just say this, or if you want to deepen it, you can find that tender spot here in the pectorals and gently massage it. If your eyes are closed, you can open to see what I'm doing here, but it's just that part below the breastbone and above the breasts that is like the kind of tender or sensitive spot in the pectorals. And we're just stimulating the heart meridians in this with a gentle massage. And if you have that going, or you could do it without it, you can close your eyes again. And you might say, even though I have, and you could place in here some kind of concern or worry or situation that you're uncertain about, even though, fill in the blank, I deeply love and accept myself today. And if there isn't anything top of mind that is worrisome or concerning, that's great. You can even just massage this area and say, I deeply love and accept myself today. Out loud or in your heart, say it again with me. I deeply love and accept myself today. And one more. I deeply love and accept myself today. And you know, if that brings a bit of a tear to your eye, I say that's wonderful. That's great, because emotions are chemicals and tears are actually washing away the built up chemicals that are ready to be released. That element of water is so magical. So saying hello to who's here is Cami. Hello. Oh, you guys, Cami was on my podcast a while back and she needs to come on again. We keep being too busy to do that. So hi, Cami. I'm so happy to see your face too in that picture. And who else is here? Day. Hi, from Washington State. Oh, so nice to see you. Thank you for being here. All right, let's get into some of this really awesome stuff. And I want to mention a couple of things that are very present, very time sensitive, if you will, and that is that I have an Akashic Record Reader course that is going on now, and there is content that is already available, and you can come to our next live session of class. And so find the description in the chat there, because as I am doing this live podcast and chat show, it's happening tomorrow. So I want to make sure that you know about that. And additionally, we have an Angel Guide Connection workshop happening. That is happening this Sunday as I am giving this live. And if you find the link there, you can join us, or you could subscribe to Modern Mystic, which is a really inexpensive subscription platform and community where we do have workshops and live group meditations every month. All right, let's get into the heart of this today. And I should also say that I'm also, just as an overview, I'm going to be sharing a really cool story about animal communication. And I'm going to touch upon something that is literally close to home for me, which are the wildfires in Southern California, because I live in Los Angeles. But first, I want to give you something. I want to serve you with something really high vibe. All right, we are, as always, in a really interesting time. We are in an interesting time, aren't we? It seems like we keep saying that, but the thing is, there is a powerful shift happening on our planet. We are in still like a new age, but this is ramping up even more. We're in the process of shifting our paradigm very powerfully. And if you are to human design and your human design experiment, you'll recognize this as the 2027 shift. And I'm not going to dive into that for this episode, but I want to acknowledge it. There are also other paradigms that might involve astrology that are also sensing a shift here. And what's happening is that we are stepping into a whole new age. And I think we can all see it. We can see it in the negative response that everybody is having to a lot of the world events. And we can also feel it in ourselves individually, because there is an individuation process and an awakening that is happening in a lot of ways on an individual level. And then also that they're gathering together. We are gathering together in communities. So what we need to be doing is actually not just for the fact that we want to have a better life. That's a great reason. Not just for the fact that we're really thirsty and hungry and starving for our greater manifestation powers, our greater intuitive abilities and powers. And we sense a more magical, connected, compassionate society that we could be creating together. We need it for all of our personal reasons. And that's where we start, which is why I started with the self-love practice first. But we also need it to be able to be guiding and leading the way, because you're here watching or listening to a podcast like this because you are a spiritual seeker. And that, to me, indicates that you are also here to be a guide in that. And that means that there are other people in your life who maybe they're not having the same sense of things that you are. And if that's so, it is for you to role model or innovate or activate or guide or teach, and to do that as the example for yourself. So it's like the sense that things are changing and we need to change more. So we do get to do it for ourselves, for the fact that we are just starving for that spiritual connection. And also we are really yearning for this manifestation power that we just want our lives to be better. We want to feel free. And then it is also so that you can be that way shower. Now, it's going to seem very simple, I think. And some of you who are practitioners or maybe even healers and guides yourselves, you might go, yeah, I know this. And so do I. But it is something that cannot be overlooked. And the beauty of the simplicity of it, I think, is just showing us how this universe is based on compassion and acceptance and love. And what I'm talking about here is healing and regulating your nervous system more and more and more every single day. So healing your nervous system is something that is the overarching, bigger process that we're under, because your nervous system is damaged. It's damaged by trauma, and those can be big traumas and small traumas. They can be the micro traumas that are happening every day as we see what's going on in the world and we see people being cruel and mean to each other and unkind, whether we see it on broadcast or social media or we come about it in our day. These things are just happening all around us, and your tender and beautiful heart is receiving it. And that heart, that you're feeling it as you receive it or witness it, because even just witnessing unkindness, witnessing discompassion is a micro trauma for you, at the very least a micro trauma. That is damage that has created damage to our nervous system. If you can imagine that your home, if the floor was falling through and the floorboards were broken and you stepped through the floorboards and you fell down into the dirt beneath you and there was all kinds of unhealthy fungus beneath that floor, and you need to repair that floor so you can walk safely around in your home, safely, healthfully, cleanly around in your home. That's your nervous system that has overarching damage. That's healing your nervous system. And then also regulating your nervous system. And the regulating of your nervous system is how you heal it. Regulating your nervous system is little by little making those little corrections to it, so that if you can imagine this grand nerve of your nervous system called the polyvagal nervous system or the polyvagus nerve, that as it is damaged, the regulating that you're doing each day, many, many times a day, noticing when you are dysregulated, noticing when you are in fight flight, and then finding a way to recognize I don't actually have to fight or flee for my life in this moment, so I can regulate my nervous system. And if you're wondering how do I regulate my nervous system, I'm about to tell you. I just want to explain to you how important it is. Regulating your nervous system in the face of a true trauma, in the face of a trauma that is maybe micro to minor. Because, of course, if your life is literally being threatened, it is appropriate for your nervous system to have a moment of dysregulation, but it actually pushes you to the next stage to actually be able to summon resources to fight or flee for your life. Barring having to run or fight for your life, dysregulated nervous system is actually not helping in the moment. And what happens is we dysregulate a little bit, and then we don't need it, so then we're just damaging the nervous system little by little. So then how we regulate our nervous system, the simple, beautiful, it's like achingly beautiful in a way, is our breath. Now, some people, you may be familiar with breath work, and that is a powerful process. And breath work, there are many different styles of breath work, some that actually work to target and release limited emotions, feelings, beliefs, and to release and resource yourself to heal trauma. I'm talking about the simple breathing that we actually probably stop doing throughout the day. So when you are feeling dysregulated, and what does dysregulated feel like? It feels like worry, stress. It feels like sometimes where you even feel it in your body. Sometimes you don't feel it in your body and you just know that I'm worrying or I'm stressed out or I have anxiety. And actually depression is a form of anxiety as well. I'm really bummed out. Now, I'm not telling you in this to avoid your emotions. No, in fact, you can regulate your nervous system and hold space for your emotions to process. It's interesting. You would think, well, if I'm stressed out and you're telling me that being stressed out is dysregulating my nervous system, then I have to just stop feeling the emotion. No, you can actually breathe and hold space for the emotion. And what I do in that situation is I might go, I'm feeling worried right now, and that's okay. That is human, that is appropriate, and that is something that I can experience. And as I'm allowing myself to have those worrying emotions, I breathe through it. I actually give more concerned and interested space and attention for that emotion to process while regulating my nervous system. Because here's the thing, we can have uncomfortable emotions without asking our nervous system to become extremely dysregulated. So you might have a little less regulation, but if you're breathing and you are intentionally breathing and holding space for that emotion to process, it is necessarily true that your nervous system will be regulated because it only works in a binary way. Either it's in fight flight, which we call the sympathetic, or it is in what we kind of term rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic. And if you are breathing intentionally and slowly, you cannot be in fight flight. Or you might say, if you're in fight flight, it actually turns off fight flight if you breathe slowly and easily. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, if you've ever almost gotten into a car accident and it really seems like it's about to happen. I've noticed that when it really seems like, oh, this is about to happen, or maybe it has happened, I actually get this almost like the matrix slows down and my arms relax. Maybe I'm still pressing on the brake really hard or trying to maneuver, but there is a clarity and a focus that comes in. That is actually you moving past fight flight into the full launch of how your body can carry you out of a situation. And your nervous system comes into some kind of regulation. It is when you're holding your breath, which you may not recognize that you're doing. So this is also another way to say mindfulness, to be very present to what it is you're doing in that moment. Mindfulness is something that is, a lot of people that are tangential to spirituality, maybe they're not fully into metaphysics and mysticism, but they're into mindfulness because it has been clinically proven to create health, well-being, to lower inflammation, to bring mental health to us, to be mindful and present to every moment as much as possible. So that is how breathing slowly and easily can actually bring in the moment. Being mindful and present with even a difficult or uncomfortable emotion as healing your nervous system. And by the way, I have to now launch into the part how this is going to enhance your intuition for your life, your psychic or intuitive abilities, and your manifestation magnetism. Because as our nervous system is healed and as we are taking the moments to nurture ourselves, as I said at the very beginning, that is self-care and self-love. And that is how the universe can find you. It's like the universe only sees you as divine and beautiful and deserving of absolutely all of the love and abundance and compassion. So if we are affirming something about ourselves that is out of alignment with love, compassion, acceptance, and abundance, it's like the universe is like, I don't even know how to talk to you. We're not speaking the same language. You see how it actually makes you magnetic? Here's another way, and this came through in a channeling session where someone asked, I was channeling Archangel Michael, and someone asked, how can I shift my job? And, how can I have a work situation that's better for me? And Michael said, regulate your nervous system, breathe, because as you're healing your nervous system, you're balancing the element of fire within you. And fire and air are magnetic qualities when these are all balanced in you. And as we said, it also reduces inflammation, and that is having your water element find the right calibration too, because if we have too much blood in one area, that's too much water element in one area. And then, of course, earth, because your earth element is out of balance when we have inflammation or when we're holding our breath or when our fire is too activated or if we're depressed, underactivated. So you see how stopping, and I'm going to give you a challenge here in a moment, to breathe and thinking about this. Now that you know what regulating your nervous system is, I want you to put this top of mind throughout your day. Now that you know what regulating your nervous system is, I want you to put this top of mind throughout your day so that you can regulate it, because this is how you're going to be able to tap into your intuition. Breath is called respiration, inspiration, and that all is the root word of spirit. You notice that intuitives, and whether you're an intuitive or you've seen an intuitive at work, they go like this when they're going to tap in. That is spirit infilling you. So that will tap you into your intuition, and that will balance your fire, water, air, and earth. It will help the universe to see you and be able to have a conversation with you. And as I said, it is the language of your soul. It will put you in alignment with your soul's blueprint, and it will make you magnetic. And also, just in the simple pragmatic ways, if we are in a regulated nervous system and our fight flight is turned off, we can see what is here for us. We can pay attention to how to move forward in our life. We can spark the relationships that will be collaborative ones for manifestation and for us to be in that alignment. So my challenge for you is to set an alarm for 5 times a day. Now, I would say the waking and the sleeping to stop and do 5 slow and easy breaths. And if you want to imagine that you're connecting with your heart and that your heart is opening, and if you want to add to it any affirmation that is helping you that day, because you know what affirmations are? They're hypnotic suggestions. You know, when you regulate your nervous system and you breathe 5 slow and intentional, easy, really delicious breaths, you are actually shifting your state, which is a way to say that you're inducing yourself a little bit into a positive hypnotic state instead of a negative hypnotic state of fight flight. You're shifting your state. So I would say once at waking, before you start to turn on the world, once right before you go to sleep. So that means set an alarm for 3 times during the day. Now, of course, you could do it more than that. But if you set an alarm, kind of split up your day, and you will, no matter what, stop and breathe 5 slow and easy breaths. This will create a profound overarching healing to your nervous system and will shift you into that spiritual alignment in that moment. Now, I want to ask you to add, if you would like, to this practice, an archangel. Adding an archangel who can guide you. Now, whether this is an ongoing relationship or if it's just for that day. So we're going to call in right now an angel to help you with this. And we're just going to call on one of the 4 cardinal archangels. These archangels I'm about to mention, they each oversee one of the physical elements, as we've been talking about fire, earth, water, and air. Of course, they're all connected to the element of aether or spirit. So if you want to take a moment and just let your intuition guide you, I'm going to say the name of the angel and the element that they oversee, and whichever one kind of just lights up for you, stands out for you, that is the angel who wants to guide you in this practice today, that you can call on for as long as you feel that particular, connection. Maybe it's for a week, maybe it's 6 months, maybe tomorrow you tap into one of the other 4, one of the, other 3 of the 4 cardinal archangels that we're going to call in. So now if you want to take a breath and close your eyes again, if it's safe to do so, we're going to start with Archangel Michael, oversees the element of fire. Now we're going to move to Archangel Gabriel, oversees the element of water. Now Archangel Uriel oversees the element of earth. And finally now, Archangel Raphael oversees the element of air. Now you could also go around and actually call on all 4 of them as your practice. And then a 5th breath, calling on all universal powers of alignment for your highest benefit. So there is one of your practices. And if you want to put in the comments, was there a particular angel that seemed to stand out for you in that practice? take a moment to just notice what you noticed about that practice in a particular angel, and we'll move on to our next segment. All right, now I want to see who's here, who has come and joined. And Day says, yes, tears. Then a song came through. Thank you for that. Oh, wonderful. In one of the practices. Lauren's here. Hi, Lauren. So nice to see you. Life Path 11-2. I'm always reminded about the way shower. Yes, absolutely. My husband is also an 11-2. And then Day says, been slowly working on my nervous system for 5 months. Great. After burnout. Yes. Shut down a successful pet sitting biz after 12 years due to the burnout. Breathing has helped me. You know, I'm about to talk about some animals. So thanks for being here. And Jennifer is here. Hi. Jennifer says, maybe Archangel Michael. Definitely. Oh, I love that. Cami says, thank you for the reminder to breathe. And Cami's a breathwork facilitator. So you see what I mean? Like, we forget to breathe. And Cami's an expert in it. And she's still saying, like, yeah, I need that too. I need that reminder. And Jennifer says breathing does help a lot. So great. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And I'm going to take a sip and we're going to move on to our next topic. You know, as I said, we're doing this show live, so you might have to have me, doing the little things that would otherwise be behind the scenes. But I think it's so fun to do it live, so that's what I'm doing. And I should say, before I share this next really cool and inspiring story, that I am going to be doing this now 3 days per week. Now, my schedule of doing the Charmed Life live podcast and chat show, you can find it on YouTube. It's also on Facebook and maybe on X. So, sometimes it's showing up there. But the main hub for it is YouTube. And I'm going to be putting it on the audio podcast afterward. And I'll probably also feature some of the segments. Now, I will be having guests every now and again, as I have in the past. And so what the schedule is going to be now is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific. Now, sometimes those times I have to wiggle around because life be lifing, as you know. As actually, this is the inaugural one for this new plan, and I had to do it later. But if you want to, of course, subscribe, like, share, click that bell. That's how you're going to get the notification. But even more importantly, the best way to stay in touch about this is by being on my mailing list. And I have a way for you to join the mailing list that is with a free gift of a mini course of Animal and Nature Intuitive. So you can find that actually in the description, and I'll share it in the live here too. But let's talk now about this really cool high vibe story that is, maybe we call this the high vibe corner. And this is about animal communication. So if we've never met before, I'm an animal communicator. That means I telepathically communicate with animals. And though that is both animals who are incarnated, living, as well as mediumship, animals who are past. And this story is about a friend of mine this is actually the second time this cat has gotten lost, and we've been able to locate the cat. And this is a friend of mine who actually lives in Mexico, and I've never been to her house. And one of her kitties has gotten out in a panic and gotten lost. So this cat is an indoor-only cat, and it's, the area that she lives, it's not safe. It's not really good for a cat to be out. Sometimes it's because there's too much predatorial behavior there in the area. And sometimes it's because it's too much city, or a combination. Where I live, it's a combination. There are coyotes on our residential streets where cats can also get run over. And it's just not healthy for them. So this cat lives a really wonderful life indoors. And this cat, for the second time, was lost. Now, I'm sharing with you the second event of this, because the first one was really cool. The second one is also really cool. And what happened was my friend reaches out to me, and it's not an easy task, I will say, as an animal communicator, for a few reasons. Because if you've ever been separated from anyone you love, and with an innocent animal, a dog or a cat especially, or, like a bird too, that would be really painful. And it is like having your heart outside of your body. It is really, really stressful. So when I help someone with this work, I feel that. I feel that so deeply. And there's a lot of, for me, I feel a lot of pressure to be able to find that animal. And I have had, long ago, a cat, my beloved kitty, in my early 20s. He got out by accident and he was gone for about 24 hours. And I just remember the absolute just stress and pain of that and worry about him and just devastation that I may never see him again. Oh, God. It's too much. So anyway, Kitty's lost. My friend reaches out to me. What I do in a situation like this is I do my typical animal communication, the telepathy, where I go deeper into state. And I do have to go deeper into state for this one so that I can disconnect as much as possible from my friend's, pain, and to try to become objective, which is not entirely purely possible because I care so much about my friend and I care so much about bringing that kitty home. But to try to find a way that I'm somewhat objective so that I can pull in the objective reality of what is going on. And then also to, be able to project my consciousness to where the animal is. So part of this is animal communication, directly reaching out to the animal, communicating with them directly to see if they can have me anchor into their time space and really even in their body so that my consciousness is empathically occupying their place, space in their body so that I can see through their eyes. As I see through their eyes, I can see what they're seeing. And so that was one of the first things I did. I asked the cat for permission to connect with them. It's a boy cat. He gave me, I'm stressed out. I do want to be home. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. It's kind of cold, but it's not too cold here. I'm scared. I don't want to move, because he was in a freeze state. And he indicated, I can hear everybody. I'm close by. And now my friend, the human, was worried because she's like, when this happened before, I was eventually able to call him and he answered and he's not answering. And she's like, yeah, I don't know where he is. So I was like, okay, he's showing me that he is tucked away in something that's like brambly bush. He can see in his eye shot is something that is like a green or gray tarp. I think it was both. Right now I'm going off of memory. And also he is up and he's not too far away. So then the next thing that I do, because I have an anchor point of where the kitty is, and then I anchor into where he's supposed to be. Now, if I can get a map, like a Google map of the place, then I will, and then that helps me because I can use that to scry. But my friend's address doesn't come up on Google Maps. So I have to just go purely by remote viewing and intuition. So then, as I have the anchor of where the kitty is, then I anchor into where he's supposed to be in his home. I then do, in my awareness, in my mind's eye, I bring up the map and I see here, these are the 2 points. And then I see that if I orient it, I can see that the kitty is approximately, and this time it was like very close, like he was on the edge of their property and high up and in some bramble. And that it's like within, however many feet. And if I stand at the back door of this home, I'm just using this arbitrarily because I don't remember specifically, it would, it's like southeast within 100 feet. And this time too, because the kitty was letting me really feel into his body, sense what's going on. And so I told my friend, you're going to have to get a step ladder. You're going to have to get him. He's in too deep of a freeze response. He's not going to be able to come out on his own. And I was like, and there's something about it being your husband might help, but you're going to have to go and get him physically. And so anyway, he had been gone for, I think, a couple of days, 2-3 days. So, an hour or so later, she messages me a picture of him home and eating. And she's like, it was a bit of a wild goose chase. He was exactly where you said he was. And yeah, we did have to go get him with a ladder. So I just wanted to share this with you also and tell you that the behind the scenes of that is I'm not like, I feel vulnerable. Like, I don't know if I'm getting this right. So, and again, because I'm not even certain if I have objectivity. So I did, after I pulled through that information and before I gave it to my friend, I kind of put the scene aside, and I went to my spirit team and I said, am I objective in this? Am I pulling through this information objective? And it was interesting because their answer to me was, no, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. And it just kind of helped me to go like, yeah, I may not be able to like be completely objective in the sense that I've forgotten how much I care about my friend getting her cat home, but I have enough that at least I'm not projecting, you know what I mean? I'm not projecting what I want. And so they just told me like, that doesn't mean the information is wrong. In fact, it is correct. And then they pointed me in another direction. They said, often when you're called onto a case, whether it's something like this or something else where somebody really wants a certain outcome, and I want them to have the thing they want, but I will feel the fact that that outcome isn't coming, and I'll feel it in my body as like a anxiety or sadness, and I'll feel it, and I don't like tell the person because I go by evidences. So anyway, the point is, they said, you didn't get that feeling. You have the sense that this outcome is, aligned, that the kitty will be home. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I did not get that feeling. So gave her the download of all of that information, and it turned out great. So that is a fun and really, cool story. Now we have some aftercare with that because we need to find out what the kitty needs. And I talked to the kitty about what he needed, why he kept getting out and everything. And so that's an ongoing part of the healing process. So I wanted to share with you that really fun story and just the amazing things that our consciousness can do, because I really did bilocate. I projected my consciousness to the kitty to be able to pull in that information. And again, I can't even find this place on the map. I've never been there. But this is what's really amazing about connecting with spirit and with our non-physical or our spiritual senses. So what I popped in there is a link to this free course I have, Animal and Nature Intuitive, and it's great for any level of spiritual or intuitive development. And it's a little course that can help you to connect. It gives you some techniques and meditations to connect with your own animal family particularly, or to connect with some other element of nature. And this is a free course. It's also a way that you can, to be able to receive it, you'll be signing up for my newsletter, in which I said, if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll be able to get the notifications for this and other things that I have going on. And Jennifer says, that's amazing. Glad the kitty was found safe. Me too. I can't even tell you, like, when that happens, when I just feel so much release, like I'm like clapping my hands, I'm crying tears of joy. This happened back about a year ago, I think, with one of my best friends. And again, she lives in another state. I would ideally, if I could live locally, love to go there and let my body be a part of the process. But if it's in another state, there's only so much I could do. And same thing, her kitty had been missing for several days. And it was like, okay, these houses this far away, however far. And same thing, he was that direction. So it's really amazing. Now, having said that, I am often on either a lost animal case or a health or death and dying case. And these are things I'm not even charging for because they tend to be, I don't publicize it on my website. It tends to be things that I'm on for close friends and it's more of my ministry, I would say. So I want to say that I'm not actually soliciting business in this area because it's really it's so much to be able to do that, and it's hard to find a way to have that case be something that is contained within that relationship. So anyway, just a little bit of a disclaimer there. So, all right, that is our second segment. And now I'm going to head into our closing segment with this transition. So today, our takeaways that I hope you will take away: self-love is the language of your soul. Self-love is the language in which the universe can engage with you so that you can have the abundance, the love, and the creativity and the spiritual connection that you crave. We are in a new age, a new paradigm, and we're only moving even more swiftly into it. So it is really important for us to be on our growth practices, on our spiritual growth practices, our mindset growth practices, Because if you are here, then I say that you are a way shower. I talked about and guided us through practices for healing and regulating your nervous system, and that this is actually key to spiritual and personal development, and it is key to being more magnetic for manifestation. It's key to your intuition and your intuitive and psychic abilities. So if you want to get back to those practices, find some ways to just be in your breathing and your nervous system regulation in every moment that you can. You can think about it, and certainly in the moments when you might be feeling dysregulated with worry, stress, or even the sense of being low or depressed. I gave you that free gift of the Animal Intuitive Connection course, a free mini course, and also just a reminder that there is the Akashic Record Reader course, the live session for this really amazing course. It's happening tomorrow, and even if you're watching this in replay, this course will be available for you to watch all of the lessons, learn the techniques, and then you can come to Sacred Sphere, which is my development community, to practice and activate all of these abilities. So all of those things you can find on my website. Also, there is an angel guide workshop this Sunday with Modern Mystic, which you could drop into this workshop for $35. But the thing is, if you subscribe to Modern Mystic, it's only $11 a month, and you get a workshop and a live group meditation every month, plus some other content that I send through. So it's really pretty cool. Now, just a reminder that I am doing this as a live chat show podcast. It's going to be on YouTube, and of course you can watch and listen to the replay. I should say watch the replay on YouTube, but you can listen to it on my podcast feed as well. Just find Charmed Life with Tricia Carr, however you get your podcasts. And we're going to be doing this. The plan is 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 Pacific. So that means check it out on this coming Friday. I will be scheduling them so you can click that bell so you get the notifications of it. And as they approach, I'll be putting the description for it because I want to be more on current events about it. I want to be, in the current energies. So we might be having things about whatever astrological events that are going on, or maybe some social events that are going on. I stay free of politics, but that doesn't negate the fact that we need some support in what's going on in our social landscape. Having said that, I just want to end with deep compassion and appreciation for how people have come together to hold space for the wildfires that are still happening in Southern California. I live in Los Angeles, and I was only impacted by the winds and the poor air quality for a few days. But people who are very, very close to me lost everything. And you would be surprised because one of my friends who lives in Altadena, which is one of the major fire areas, their house actually made it through, but they've lost almost all of their possessions within that home because of how toxic everything became. And that they have to throw out a lot of things even to be in their home. So there's chaos and devastation that is really unimaginable. And I know a lot of you have been seeing it on the news, and you don't have to continue to watch it if it's bringing you too down in your energy. I get that, and your prayers and your support in any way that you've been doing it works. Prayer works, and of course other kinds of support works by whether it's donating, even if it's $5, finding the right place to donate something. It's been a hard time, and so I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's very close to home for me, but thank goodness I'm very, very fortunate that I had very, very little effect of it except for helping my friends and witnessing my friends in this. And having said that, just to acknowledge that I know in difficult times, people they're on their worst behavior. There's actually people that have been starting fires because of this. I don't know, they get a little, really, honestly, that's a mentally ill thing to do. Other people are lashing out and being really unkind and saying, oh, those people can afford, I don't even know. Here's what I want to, if you feel as though it helps you in your spiritual mission to speak out and say, please be kind, great. But if it only causes more dysregulation and a sense of disempowerment for you, you can also completely ignore that, because it is, in a manner of speaking, like a child throwing a tantrum. And, parents know that there are times when the child is throwing a tantrum where you just have to not give any energy to it. And then at a certain point, then it's appropriate to work with the child and help them to, have either the consequences of that tantrum, or to help them to change their perspective so they can become regulated themselves. You see how you might be fitting into anywhere there that is response, and you have to go by your own instrument. I have been mostly in the place of not giving it any energy. I knew the second that these wildfires were happening and this devastation was happening, I felt the compassion and the coming together, and I knew immediately, because it happened with the pandemic, people were going to start being cruel. And I just had to say, I already know that's coming. I'm not giving any energy into it. I'm just doing it here because I know the people who are here are possibly witnessing that unkind treatment. And I just want to support you in dropping it if that's what's right for you, ignoring it, because there's no point in even engaging in that. So that's what I have here for this episode. And Jennifer says, sending love. I pray for the fires to stop soon. Yes, thank you so much. As do I. So that is what I have for you in this episode. I look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully you can bookmark this and come and join me at 1 p.m. Pacific, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or catch it in the replay, however you like. And I am just so appreciative of who you are. And this is exactly who you are. Your authentic self is who the universe needs, who I need, who everyone in your family and life needs. So please love yourself into the fullness of your power, because that is who you are designed to be. And the universe doesn't make any mistakes. Nature doesn't make any mistakes. So thank you for being here. Thank you for shining your light on our beautiful world. And thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.